Welcome to our teaching point video on shooting characteristics. Here we point out common characteristics of the NBL's best free throw shooters according to Synergy. Amongst these shooters you will notice where their starting point of the ball is, the angle and the height of their non-shooting arm, and positioning of their feet. None of these aspects will fix your shot instantly. Nothing beats quality practice. Rather, use these characteristics to compare your own form with. First up, we have 6'10" Daniel Kickett of the Brisbane Bullets, this season a 95% free throw shooter. We can see here that the starting point of the ball is just above his knee.
Not 20 seconds before. This man is a great shooter.
From the front, we will see that Kickett's left foot is pointed out rather than at the hoop. Notice the bend in his left elbow and that both of his hands are at the same height in the follow through.
He does. He's 40 from the three-point line and over 90% as he probably drains another one. 100% from the field. 90% from 3 points.
And the next Friday they can win the series against Perth.
The thing that I like that they've done.
Next we take a look at Bryce Cotton of the Perth Wildcats, this season an 89% shooter. Similar to Kickett, his starting point is low with the ball below his waist.
He decided to leave Turkey.
Unlike Kickett, Cotton's feet are both pointing straight. His left elbow is still bent, however, with his left hand slightly lower than his right hand on the release.
Hand off, and so he's constantly having to chase at the other end. Pick and choose what the defenders give him.
6 of 6 from the free throw line in the game so far, and now extending. Led the league in scoring, 15 games. Bryce Cotton played.
Now we look at 6'3" Adam Gibson, also of the Brisbane Bullets, this season a 94.3% shooter. Again, we'll see a low starting point with the ball near his waist.
They'd love a big comeback here, Brisbane, to really set up some huge games.
As is the same with the previous two shooters, you can see Adam's left elbow is bent on the release. You'll also notice that his left and right hand are at the same height in the follow-through.
What about last time he was in Perth with the Bullets this season?
Position to the free throw line more than any other team, 26.
Next is the left-handed 6'3" Kevin Lish of the Sydney Kings, who was their best shooter at 83.6%. Again, a low starting point with the ball at his waist, but slightly higher than the previous shooters.
Protecting the ball tonight, and now they've lost their head.
With Kevin being a left-handed shooter, we focus on the right elbow, and still you'll see a bend on the follow-through with both hands high on the release. In this view, you'll notice Kevin's right foot pointing out to the side, not straight at the hoop.
You still might get including 5 of 7 threes. The most recent occasion when they were here in Sydney.
And look at that, not one player even made an effort. And look, you know what, if you're not even going to get...
Now we look at the 6' Jerome Randall of Adelaide, who shot just shy of 90% while doing it at a high volume. And again we see another low starting point, right in front of the waist.
He kept Adelaide alive in the first half.
Randall is a shooter who leans the ball away from his right side, yet you'll still see a good left elbow bend.
This fight from the stripe, from the MVP favourite. He never looks rattled.
Here we'll see Jerome's feet parallel. Much like Kyrie Irving, he's also a shooter who leans the ball away from his right shoulder. Next we have Corey Webster of the New Zealand Breakers, an 88% shooter. In this front-on view, we have highlighted again another low starting point. When freezing that front-on view, we can see his left elbow is bent on the follow-through, and his left foot is pointing out to the side.
Those 1 and 2 steps, little step back jumpers.
Easy lane to the rim, and if somebody's not coming to crop that big man against a guard like that, you really got no chance.
Next up we have Cairns Taipan's Mark Worthington at 94.1%. Now not what you call a textbook shooter, but nonetheless we're going to see a low starting point.
The head-to-head advantage swings back towards Perth.
Again, while his form's a little unorthodox, you still see a left elbow bend on the release and his left hand right next to his right.
Over the past month, knows he doesn't have the engine he has.
At the end of this last frame, you'll also see Mark's left foot pointing out to the left side. Now we look at Illawarra's import, Rodney Clark, an 89% shooter this past season. Again, the arrow is pointing to a low starting point.
I think if they're going to fall down, let them get beat at the other end.
Similar to Webster's form, we see Clark with a bent left elbow, his left and right hand right next to each other on the release, and his left foot pointing out to the left side.
So he's taken Nicholas Kay off now. He's probably going to give him another minute or two and then get him in.
This is a guy described as the modern-day pistol.
Play through somebody, and in it's game 2, they did a good job of getting. The Hawks have taken 6 free.
Lastly, we're going to look at David Anderson, a long-time pro across the EuroLeague, the NBA, and now with Melbourne United. Like each other shooter we've shown so far, he has a low starting point.
Big future in front of him. I think there's a whistle floating around in the stands somewhere. It seems like
Now in this frame we highlight 3 parts. You can see his left and his right hand at a similar height, and the left bent elbow on the release. To summarise what we've just seen amongst all these shooters, they all have a low starting point. The guide arm stays bent on the way through. The guide hand is close to the same height as the shooting hand, and it's okay to have your weak side foot pointing out. Do whatever's comfortable for you. Our next video will look at the free throw characteristics of the top shooters in the EuroLeague. Thanks for watching, we'll see you soon.